What's going on, everyone? Whether you're watching this from YouTube or from Facebook, in today's video, we're kind of going to go over what people are doing and why people are leaving Chicago for the Chicago suburbs or from the Chicago suburbs to the city of Chicago. I got a special guest that's going to join me, but the reason I'm going to be talking about this topic and I want to have this on my social medias, on my Facebook and YouTube, is because I'm coming across a lot of with my colleagues and friends I went to college with that are ultimately relocating out of the city of Chicago to the burbs, whether it be start a family, job, and just to get closer with family sometimes. So I'm going to be bringing onto the stage right now a colleague of mine, Jordan Pyle. Jordan, welcome to the show.
What's up, man? I love the stage here. Thanks
awesome.
for having me. No, I'm excited to do this. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course. If you want to tell the people who you are first, obviously a lot of my followers, wherever they're watching from, know who you are. And, you've talked to a few of my clients already and vice versa. But for just a broad audience, all 1,500 of my Facebook followers and, a solid 530 subscribers on YouTube. And I thank everyone for, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, because I'll tell YouTube I'm doing a great job at making this video kind of thing. But Jordan, do you want to tell the people who you are?
That's awesome, man. 535 subscribers. I remember when you had like 230. So keep doing your thing, man. It's starting to pay off. And I know that YouTube's super powerful. So yeah, for anyone watching, Jordan Pyle, I'm a real estate agent. I've been in the business now. This is my 9th year. I am an agent with Compass Real Estate here out of the Lincoln Park office in the city of Chicago. Yeah, man, just having a lot of fun with it, learning something every day. Built my business primarily, through just relationships, taking care of my database, helping people from, their first rental to their first property, selling their first property, buying their second. And then a lot of what's happening now after being in it 9 years is having some people, kind of desire a little bit of a different lifestyle, which is why you and I have been connecting lately about having a good referral relationship from city to suburbs and from suburbs into the city as well. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, for sure. No, and then this is a perfect segue into kind of that topic on, why we kind of want to have this conversation, because, you have a lot of clients that are in that stage, looking to move out of here. And I do too, ultimately. And ultimately, your business is based out of the state of Chicago. I have a lot of agent partners around the U.S. like you do too. I always just go at them saying Chicago's the best city in the world, like no ifs and buts. And Chicago suburbs is pretty great as well. But if you guys are tuning in right now to the live, drop your comments down below. Jordan and I are more than happy to answer any questions. But Jordan, you want to take over this question over here? Benefits of having a partnership between working with two brokers that already know and work with each other, especially during this huge chapter in their life, because we all know selling a property and then figuring out your next move is extremely stressful. So you want to chime in on this?
Yeah, I think I've always been a believer in collaboration over competition in real estate, right? There's 1.4 million or something like that realtors nationwide. And I've always looked at it as we're all in this together and we're all going to support each other, and making sure, as it relates to this question, that the consumer, the buyer, the seller, has ultimately the best service possible. So that has led to my kind of thought process around how I approach helping my clients. And obviously, if it's something in the city, I'm going to be the one to help them, and my team is going to service them to the highest level possible. Or if anybody from out of state or from Chicago suburbs into the city of Chicago has referrals, then typically that is, my bread and butter, and where really I'm going to take over and really excel and provide that service. But at times I have clients, and you and I, Brandon, just had actually a recent mutual client now that they are closed on a property. This was somebody who has actually, I think, transacted with me as their agent 4 or 5 times now, ever since 5-6 years ago. And this time around was a little bit different than the times before, because the first 3 or 4 were, hey, Jordan, I'm looking to buy my first property. And then, hey, Jordan, I'm looking to sell my first, buy my second, staying in the city. And then this most recent move was they wanted to get out to the suburbs. So in this example alone, it was, a younger family basically that, was looking for a little bit more space, and they wanted to locate to a neighborhood that I wasn't necessarily quite as familiar with. Right. So even though they are repeat clients of mine, and I could have taken this business and went out and serviced them in, let's say, a market that's 45 minutes to an hour outside of where I actually live and where I sell real estate on the daily. But I realized that was going to be a disservice to those clients, right? And these are people I care about immensely. And I wanted to make sure that this experience for them, seeing how this was going to be probably like a forever home, or at least, 10, 15-year home for them. I wanted to make sure
Mhm.
that they were connected with the best person possible to help them navigate a market that I'm not quite as familiar with. So enter the picture, Brandon Blankenship. And I was like, hey, Brandon, I have these clients. They're looking to buy out here. I already sold their place in the city. They're in kind of a lease back or a rent, a post-close possession situation. And they have
Mhm.
about, 75 days where they need to find something out closer towards you. So the importance of that is, like, I don't know the schools in these areas, right? I don't know from one road to another, from one neighborhood to the next, what might
Mhm.
be different about a certain type of property or the lifestyle that somebody might be able to live in those different areas. So for me to be the one to go out there and take them around, not only isn't efficient with my time, having to drive in and out of the city, traffic that could be 45 minutes, it might be an hour and a
Right.
half some days. But I also understood that somebody like yourself was going to be able to elevate the level of service, and that we could work together to make sure that they got into the right property. So that's exactly what we did. We kind of tag team this. It wasn't a, hey, take it and run type of
Mhm.
situation. It was, hey, let's have you be the expert in the search process, and then ultimately in valuing and looking up comparable properties to understand fair market value. And then let's work together through the negotiation process to make sure that everything goes without a hitch. So now we're, 75 days later, 90 days later, they've successfully closed on their property. From all I know, they're super happy. And now both of us have a client for life.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, with the transition of, what from Jordan said of, not knowing the market, because I will rarely go into the city of Chicago, especially for a buyer, just because, like Jordan said, I don't know the streets. I don't know the certain buildings. I don't know the neighborhoods. It would ultimately be a disservice to my clients when I know someone that's out there that I can ultimately trust, that can service them at the highest level as possible. So I think the initial phone call when it was, us two and two of our clients, I think a big thing in the conversation was just, obviously the city of Chicago is a way different lifestyle from the Chicago suburbs. I have clients that have already relocated out of the city of Chicago to the burbs. And, a lot of things that they miss is just, the easy access to, restaurants, nightlife and all that good stuff. So, the first couple of trips that I had with these two clients and driving them around Wheaton, Glen Ellen, primarily the western suburbs at first. They ultimately ended up more up north, closer to the Schaumburg kind of area. But just being able to drive with them and walking through these properties, telling them what to look out for, because it's obviously different from a condo building, and just really telling them where, hey, this is where you're going to go to do your groceries. There's Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Pete's Market, all along a close proximity, and then, hey, here's the best barbecue you can get. Here's the train station, and kind of all that good stuff. So I think just having two agents that already know and collaborate with each other on a daily basis can ultimately be a win-win. And, at the end of the day, we just want you to get to the next chapter of your life, especially with this big transition with Jordan, what he said with, this could be a forever home for them. So, a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't have pools in the city unless you have $3 million or
Right.
more, maybe even 10
Right.
million. So all the intricacies of what these homeowners, after they actually close on that property, getting the right property is one thing, and understanding the right neighborhood and area for them to actually raise their family in, that's one
Mhm.
thing. But being able to maintain the property and do that in a fiscally responsible way, I don't know how to manage a pool. We don't necessarily have septic tanks and things like that that are very common out there. We don't have acres of land that they're going to have to manicure from time to time. So having that boots on the ground expertise from somebody like yourself in that respective market, I know that they really appreciated it.
For sure. And while this obviously this title of this video is leaving Chicago, but realistically, it's not just people leaving Chicago for the Chicago suburbs. It's also people leaving the Chicago suburbs to the city of Chicago because maybe they're empty nesters. They kind of want that high rise, lifestyle and everything like that. But let's go first and kind of doing the little debate of why are people relocating out of the Chicago to the Chicago suburbs? And I can just say one thing up front. You can replace your $600,000 1,500 square foot condo, and over here you're getting 2,800 square feet with probably a quarter acre of land. But Jordan, with your clients that have been relocating out to the western suburbs by me, or even the southern suburbs by John, what are some of the reasons why your clients are making that decision to leave the city of Chicago for the suburbs?
Yeah, shout out to John, Southwest Suburbs. He's the king of Southwest suburb real estate. But um, Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons, right? And it's not a one size fits all approach.
Mhm,
There's no one reason why people are doing this. But what I am finding typically is that a lot changed during the pandemic, and we're kind of still seeing these after effects of people understanding they want a little bit more space. They want
mhm,
to have more privacy. They want to get out into the air and have a yard for kids to run around in. And you're very limited by that when you're in the city. And of course, the city has so many advantages and so many reasons why there's X million number of people in the city of Chicago alone, not including the Chicagoland suburbs. But I think mostly is people wanting to find a place where they can kind of put down roots, they can expand and grow into. And kind of the current state of the market is what is something that they're going to be able to be in for the next 5, 10,
mhm,
15 years plus because of where we're at in the market. 3, 4
mhm,
years ago, it might have been different because they're like, hey, I can get into a property in the city, even though it might be slightly small and we know we're going to eventually outgrow it.
mhm,
And now we're in a position where they might not just be able to go and make a huge profit if they sell in 2 years. So it kind of hedges them by saying, okay, well, maybe it was two moves in the past, but now entering the kind of this historical state of the market, it's more about where can I be and kind of mitigate my downside of potentially being forced to sell because we outgrow a home. So where can I
mhm.
find that? And I'm going to find that in the suburbs where I can grow into it and maybe even buy a little bit more, too much home today, because then when we do grow and as our life changes and everything gets a little bit more robust, then we have something that we can stay in and kind of ride the wave of the market so that we have
Mhm.
options when it comes time to sell down the road.
No, for sure. Do a lot of your clients relocate to the Chicago suburbs, or do you find it, with, obviously the state of the market where everything's been the past 2 years, do you find a lot of your clients relocating to like those hot areas like Florida,
Right.
Texas, Tennessee? What are you seeing from that end?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hearsay out there about that and people fleeing Chicago. Definitely it's happening, but there's still a lot of
Mhm,
people that love the proximity to the city of Chicago and they want to be
mhm,
close, but they don't necessarily want to be in the city center. So I'm seeing a lot of people that are if they're a primary occupant, meaning they're planning to
right.
actually live in that home, a lot of them are still staying in the Chicagoland area, specifically the suburbs
Mhm,
from the city. What I am seeing in terms of the relocation factor to these hotter markets, maybe a lower income state or, income tax state or things like that is like a Florida or a Texas, Utah blew up last year, Arizona.
mhm,
I am starting to see these people move out there. And there is a subset of, these people that we're referring to going to those markets. But what I'm also seeing more common than that is people wanting second homes in those markets. So they may still
mhm,
be living in the city of Chicago, or they may still have their single family home in the suburbs of Chicago, but they're now interested in having a secondary home that they can go and visit in maybe a warmer weather climate or somewhere where they
mhm,
can go and take their family on a vacation or a trip. So that's the
mhm.
majority of what I'm seeing for people relocating outside of Chicago as at large is more so from a secondary home standpoint.
And you kind of answered this question right here. Why are people relocating out of Chicago suburbs to Chicago? Ultimately, the same reason, right? Second property, empty nesters. It's not just relocating out of, getting second property in Florida, Tennessee, or anything like that. But, I have a lot of like high school friends and stuff like that where their parents are considering, they have low interest rates on their 2,000 square foot home. They're like, wait, why are we going to sell and then possibly buy a ranch at, 6% interest rate? And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's, you got to do what's best for you. But I've noticed in having conversations with just, my parents or my friends' parents, and them just saying, like, hey, we're going to keep our home. We can still go up and down the stairs, but let's just get that condo in the city and, go there on the weekend. We're empty nesters and everything like that. But obviously, you and I do a lot of relocation in and out of the Chicagoland, Chicago area, and just having those connections with a lot of other brokers, outside just from our area that we work, but from Tennessee, Florida, Texas, or wherever the case may be, we can put you in the best of the best hands to make this experience as top level like we would serve you, and just do our part. And definitely, if we don't have that referral for you initially, we'll go out of our way to kind of interview them on your behalf, because we know how you work and operate and everything like that. But Jordan, thanks for coming on. Do you have anything you want to chime in? We've
Yeah,
been going at this 15 minutes.
yeah, I know we want to keep this, concise and make sure we're providing value here. But I think let's not overlook what makes Chicago and Chicagoland so awesome, right? You have a lot of people looking to Chicago for the job market, right? You get a lot of people moving from out of state to the Chicagoland area for that reason. You also are in a very insulated market here in the Midwest, right? So comparative to some of the coast, you might have a, 2,000 square foot property out in California or in Miami or in somewhere in New York where it's going to cost you a couple $1,000,000. Here you might be able to get in for 500 to $1 million, right? So you get the advantage of more affordability in Chicago. There's less risk of a bubble. You're more insulated. So when the market does bob and weave, you're not going to see crazy appreciation, but you're also not going to see the market fall out on your home value. So I think people are continuing to flock to Chicago for many different reasons, and those 2 or 3 being some of the main ones.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, with your people coming out of the city of Chicago and, people that relocate here to the Chicago suburbs, from what I, have conversations with, everyone always asks the question, is the market going to crash? And from my understanding and what I truly believe in is that, the city of Chicago, the western suburbs where I work, even North Shore and areas like that, I'm a strong believer is that our infrastructure is pretty much already there. In just terms of great schools, location, if you're in the western suburbs, you're on the train line if you ultimately go back to the city of Chicago for work and not do a lot of this working from home stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff, especially like Jordan said, I follow the markets in like Florida, Tennessee, and everything like that. And, they're just mass producing inventory here in the western suburbs. I mean, pretty much all the homes are ultimately built up on all the land. And, to get a new construction for the most part, you got to find a really good lot and probably a ranch home or a tear down house to, build ultimately where you want and for the location. So, no, yeah, I totally agree on everything. And then, so if anyone thinking about making a move from, the city of Chicago to the burbs or vice versa, call Jordan or I. You guys know where my contact information is. But Jordan, how can people reach you? Instagram, Facebook, text, email?
I appreciate that. Yeah, reach out to Brandon and then have him get you in touch with me, or you could go to my Instagram is probably the best place. I put out a lot of short form content there about real estate and specifically Chicago real estate, educational type tips. And that's at jp.jordanpyle. At jp.jordanpyle. You can find me there. And then I have a link tree to all my other stuff from there.
Cool. Thanks for coming to the show. And thanks for everyone for watching.
All right. Thanks.